This weekend, Easter Sunday, we have got Whittaker v Cameron 2, and I can't wait. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the first fight. We're going to talk about Cameron, we're going to talk about Whittaker, and then I'm going to give my prediction too. First fight obviously ended in a controversial way. It looked a lot like Ben Whittaker pulled Cameron out of the ring and faked an injury to get himself out of that fight because it wasn't going his way. And there are a huge amount of people that think 100% that is the way it went. I'm not completely sure that it was fully intentional, but I can see it. I actually thought Whittaker was boxing really well in rounds 1 and 2. I thought he controlled the range quite well. And this is no disrespect to Cameron. I think he was feeling Ben Whittaker out for the first couple of rounds. But I thought Whittaker comfortably took rounds 1 and 2. He looked sharp. His combos looked really good. I don't think they were hurting Cameron in any way. And Cameron's defense was really good as well. He was holding a high guard very, very well. It was also protected his body pretty well too. But it still looked quite good from Whittaker. I even thought that Whittaker took round 3 as well. I know a lot of people don't think that. The CompuBox stats do support Whittaker winning 1, 2, and 3. Boxing stats aren't the be-all and end-all of everything, though. But personally, I thought Whittaker won 1, 2, and 3. I thought Cameron won 4, and he was winning 5 as well. What I did notice is, I think this is in round 3 as well, Whittaker seemed to close the distance up a little bit, which seemed an odd move. So it was almost like he was trying to prove that he was just an out-and-out better fighter than Cameron. And he stepped a little bit closer. And he wasn't winning those close exchanges at all. And this is where Cameron really started to find his way. And I also think Cameron's confidence was growing as the fight went on. I genuinely believe he felt like Whittaker really couldn't hurt him, or he wasn't too worried about Whittaker's power. So he was taking a few more risks and throwing a few more punches as well. But equally, I don't think Whittaker was really worried about Cameron's power either. He'd felt a lot of shots at that point. It was a little bit rough in places. I think Whittaker got warned for going in with his head. Cameron was using his forearm quite a lot. There were a few rabbit punches that Whittaker was complaining about. There were a lot of complaints from Whittaker throughout the fight. It did feel like the fight had turned and was moving into Cameron's favour. And then we get to the 5th round where I think Cameron is winning that round. And it does feel like the momentum is going his way a little bit at that point. It does. But not to a huge point. I don't know whether Whittaker was really tired or not. I know Cameron has said that he felt like Whittaker was blowing out from round 3. I think it is 2 or 3, I think he said, which seems very, very early. And then we get to the moment where they kind of get in a little bit of a scuffle on the ropes. And Cameron had been leaning in with his forearm quite a lot. He'd been really pushing Ben's head back with that. And Ben had obviously clocked that. I think he might have complained about it once as well, among his sea of complaints in that fight. I'm really not sure where I stand on this. Did he pull him over the top rope or not? The one thing that makes me think he did is his eyes. As he goes back, he looks up like this. He's really, as he's going back, his eyes are just straight up like he's almost trying to look over the top to see where he's going to land. And that kind of makes me think maybe it was intentional. I don't believe that Whittaker actually did get injured at that point. I just felt like he'd had enough. He's obviously never shown any medical evidence of any injury, and there are a few dodgy stories about him in the airport afterwards and things like that, where he was walking all right and things like that. So, yeah, I don't know, but what's done is done, and we'll find out on Sunday, won't we? On to Cameron now. Really, I think this was bad matchmaking for Ben Whittaker. You look at Cameron's record, yes, he's got losses on there, but he doesn't get knocked out. And he's a gritty fighter. He's going to make it a messy fight. He's going to drag you into a fight you don't want to get involved in, and he's going to stick with it. Not a great bit of matchmaking for Ben Whittaker at this stage, but you know, Cameron's no world beater. He is a good fighter, but he's no world beater. So Ben Whittaker, with all the hype behind him, should really be getting rid of Cameron, but who knows? On to Whittaker now. I mean, obviously he's changed trainers, so he's now with Andy Lee, which a lot of people think is a good move. I tend not to think that boxers do particularly well on their first fight with a new trainer. It usually takes a while for them to get involved with that trainer and learn their ways. So I don't know how big of a factor the Andy Lee thing will be. I don't suspect it will be that big at all. Whittaker needs to fight like he fought in the first round. He needs to keep it at distance. He needs to use his better speed. Whittaker's the better fighter. He's technically the better fighter by a distance. He's faster. He's got a better range of punches. He's perhaps not defensively better than Cameron, but all in all, I think he's a better fighter, but maybe he doesn't have the steel that Cameron has. Maybe he doesn't have the determination. Maybe he isn't as willing to listen to his trainers. I guess we'll find that out on Sunday. But for me, he needs to go in and box like he did in the first round. He needs to keep the distance, use his superior speed, and use his footwork. It's all about the footwork. He needs to keep that distance. He needs to make it a fight that Cameron can't get close to him. Whether he can do it over the now 10-round fight or not, I don't know. Whittaker's done the distance in a few of his fights, not including the Cameron fight. He went the distance against Leon Willings, and he also went the distance against Aaron Yecker. He won both of those pretty comfortably, to be honest. Obviously, not a great standard of opposition, but he can do it. We know he can do it. In terms of prediction, my prediction, this is a really, really tough one to call. It's one of those where I could see either side winning it. I don't think we're going to see a knockout. I'd be quite surprised if we see a knockout. I think Ben's got a relatively good chin. I think Cameron's got a very good chin. Neither of them seem to be massive punchers, so if there is going to be a knockout, I think it would have to be quite late on in the fight when one of the fighters is very tired and just gets caught. I've changed my mind so many times on this fight, and I could easily see it going either way. Very, very difficult one to call. I think the bookies fancy Whittaker. I think the public fancy Cameron, and they want Cameron to win as well. And on to my prediction now. Very, very difficult one to predict. I have gone both ways on this one. For a long time, I thought Cameron would win quite comfortably. He would just follow the same route as he did in the first fight and sort of break Ben's spirit. But actually, at the moment, I'm going to back Whittaker for a win on points. I don't see a knockout in this fight. If there is a knockout, I can only see it coming late when someone's tired or exhausted and someone gets clipped, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're both fit enough for that not to happen. Any boxer can knock any boxer out. I'm not really a big fan of when people say he's got no punch power or someone's got no punch power. Any boxer can knock any boxer out on any given night. If you get caught, you get caught. But I think this one will ultimately go to points. I think Ben Whittaker, with a huge amount of pressure on his shoulders, will follow a plan. I think Andy Lee will marshal him through the fight. Hopefully Ben listens and isn't looking at the crowd like he normally does between rounds. But yeah, I'm going with a Whittaker win. I know that won't be a popular one. I know everybody wants Cameron to knock him out, but I just don't think it's going to happen.